Hey, we're on Chapter 2, Section 1, Formulas and Variables. The first example up top here talks about a 24-hour car race at Daytona with teams of 3 to 5 drivers. If a car averages 103 miles per hour for 24 hours, how far does it go? Take a minute, see if you can figure out how far the car traveled. All right, well, hopefully you paused the video and figured out the problem here. And hopefully what you did was 103 miles per hour times 24 because they raced for 24 hours. And you would get something along the lines of 2,472, and we need units here, it is miles. Well, what you did is you actually used a formula. You probably didn't even know it. You used the formula distance equals speed times time. So distance equals speed times time. Our distance we figured out was our 2,472 miles. Our speed was 103 miles per hour. And our time was 24 hours. So speed times time is always going to give our distance. Well, formula. What is a formula? A formula is a single variable. Remember again, a variable is a letter. A single variable equal to something. And it is a single variable because it's all by itself. So again, a variable is a letter or symbol used to represent something where the values change. So variable, it can vary, it can change. So our example is our distance equals speed times time. Would be an example. It is a single variable equal to something. Even though my something is variables, that's okay. When we use formulas, we put numbers in for the different variables, and that is what we call substituting. Substituting. So in basketball, if I am the point guard or the one position, I would sub in and out with somebody else who's going to take my position. They come in and just trade places with me or take the exact spot. So an example here of a formula, a very common math formula, is that of area of a rectangle. So area equals length times width here. It gives the area of a rectangle with length L, width W. Find the area of a rectangle with length 5 and width of 7. So what we're going to do, we're going to write our formula down. Area equals length times width. I use a cursive L. That's typically what you'll see in math to distinguish it from the number 1. And underneath here, I have a length of 5 and a width of 7. That's going to equal my area. So now I solve 5 times 7. Hopefully you remember your math facts. If not, grab a calculator and do that. Area equals 35. And we should always include units for our area. So because it doesn't give me a measurement of feet, inches, something like that, I would use units squared. All right, now on the back side, I just want to get you a little review here on some rounding because we tend to forget when we get in 7th grade how to round. If the next digit is 5 or higher, round up. If the next digit is lower, round down. So, place value names. Another thing that we need to remember. Here's our decimal here. And we have the ones place the tens place, the hundreds, the thousands, the 10,000s, the 100,000s, the millions, and the 10 millions, and the 100 millions. Then we get into billions and trillions and quadrillions and so on. That's to the left of the decimal place. To the right of the decimal place, we have the tenths, tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths. And it would keep going all the way down to 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millionths, and so on. Keep going that way. All right, so a little rounding practice. So rounding to the thousands place. So first I need to figure out which one is the thousands place. I like to underline that. That would be my 2 here. I look to the right. Is that number 5 or bigger? No, it is 4 or less. So I drop off those and put 0. So 3, 2, 0, 0, 0. Rounding to the 100,000s. So thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s right there with the 3. So my 4, 5, 7, comma, what do I do with my 3? I look to the right. It's a 6, so my 3 becomes a 4, and everything else after that becomes a 0. The tenths place, ooh, a decimal. Tenths place is my 3 here. So 4, 5, comma, 2, 7, 1, decimal. Does my 3 go up or down? It goes up because that's an 8, so it's 4, 0, 0. The hundredths place is the 8 here. 4, 5, comma, 2, 7, 1, decimal, 3. What do I do with my 8? It's a 1 here, so my 8 stays an 8. Comes a 0. The hundreds place is the 2. 4, 5. What do I do with the 2? It goes up, becomes a 3. 0, 0, decimal, 0, 0. Now, in these problems, on the third one here, rounding to the tenths place, I put the zeros. You don't technically have to put the zeros there because it's after the decimal place. I put this 0 here as well. You don't technically need it because it's after your decimals. Same with these 2 zeros here. The zeros in the 100,000s here you do need because the decimal would be after those numbers. Same with rounding the 32,000 there. When in doubt, put the zeros on there. It will help. All right, there we go. There's your problems. Page 58, numbers 1, 3, 5, 6 through 30, evens only. Have fun.